Hey y'all, it's King, and video today on matching generals and assistants, as well as refining your gear. Okay, so first things first, I think like matching your generals and assistants, it requires a bit of an experimentation, right? Like I can show you what I do with my generals, but like you don't necessarily have the same generals as me, so like it makes it hard, right? But let's like just take for example, I don't know who's someone I know interferes. So like if I try to match Martinez with where is my Hannibal? Cool. So I can look here and like all these work, right? None of these are grayed out. That basically means that there's no conflict here, right? This skill here, this Master of Strategy gives him extra amount of troops excellent attack. It doesn't conflict with any of Martinez's skills. But if I go change Martinez to Roland, and I go put Hannibal back on, so now I can go look at Hannibal, and there's a whole bunch of like grayed out skills, right? This means these aren't going to work. So I can click here and it says this is the same as Glory Knight, right? So I can go up to Roland and Glory Knight. That's the main skill here, right? So like the problem here with Hannibal is this skill is conflicting with this main skill. So I just like am never going to use these two generals together, right? If I look at the other skills though, so like this is the same as mounted troop defense. Well, I have that one here. That's an optional skill, right? I don't have to have this on my Roland, right? I chose to put this on my Roland. So like I could probably set up these generals like so that this one didn't have defense, right? So like I think like when you're trying to decide which generals you want to pair between your main and your assistant, like the first thing to look at here is do their main skills conflict? If they do, then it's just kind of an immediate no. You don't want to deal with that, right? You want the main skills to not overlap so that they both work, and then like you can make some choices with the optional skills over here. Um, Let me see if I can find another one. So, um, let's see here. So if I try to pair Martinez with Theodora, what happens? Okay, I thought this would get turned off. It doesn't. Okay. Sorry, scrolling through here, trying to figure out what would work with what. Here, I'll just do this. I know I can do this with my development guys. So like here I have Baybars. He has stuff. He has March Speed. He has stuff. And he has this basically a luck book. But if I go try to pair him with, we'll just start with Theodora. Well, it doesn't like this, right? It says that this is conflicting with Father of Conquest. That's this one. That's the luck skill book, right? These two don't pair together. If I go over here and I put Nathaniel Green, that one, that's fine because my Baybars doesn't have something to reduce his stamina. If I go put a Nathaniel Green that has more skill books on it, let's see, where would that be? Right here. A lot of these are grayed out, right? So still the stamina one is fine. But this March speed is conflicting with the March speed up here. This luck is conflicting with this luck over here. Right? So we just need to experiment a little bit here. Let me mess with this a tiny bit here. So I know that if I here, let me just find a throwaway general here really quickly. So scroll down to the bottom. Let me find someone I don't really have skills on yet. Sure, we'll just pick him. And I just, for sake of making a point, I'm going to put a skill book on him, and I'll put this ground troop HP on there. Okay. So I'm going to pick him and make him my main general. Sorry, this doesn't work because he's not high enough level. Okay. I have a plan. If I put trade... Oh, he's not leveled either. Super annoying. Sorry, give me a second. Who can I put a skill book on? He'll work. Nope, he won't work. Struggling over here. This will work. Okay, so if I take Oda right here, and this is a wall gen, but whatever. She has some skills on there. And then I try to pair her with Trajan. So if you look here, his main skill is turned off, right? And it says right here, the main skill is the same as ground troop HP. And if I go over to here, that's because I have this HP book, right? So right here, we can see the main skill from Trajan is interfering with this ground troop HP book over here. This is fixable, right? I can go, if I wanted to, I could go to my main general and I could switch this out to someone else. Switch this HP book to something else. This is kind of annoying because you're probably going to end up wasting some level 4 skills here, but like if you're really set on this general pairing you want to use, then great, that's fine. You could go over to here, you could get rid of this HP book, and then all of a sudden it'll stop conflicting with this one right here. This one's grayed out for the same reason. This is an HP book, and it's conflicting with this HP book. So summarizing here, look at your assistant in general. If they have a skill that overlaps, it'll be grayed out. If it's the main skill, and the main skill is conflicting with the main skill of the original person, that general pairing is just not good. You should try to find a new general pairing. If the main skill here is interfering with one of the optional skills over here, well, that's when you can make a choice. You can go change up your skills over here so that you can use that assistant general. Or you can try to find a new assistant general. And then actually just the last thing I wanted to point out, because I found this recently, if you go to this I button there, and over here it explains what parts of assistant generals matter. Let's see, so all your normal stuff, right? Basic attributes, special skills, specialties, ascending attributes, equipment, spirit, beast, all that works fine for main generals, as you would expect. Assistant generals, basic attributes. That's your attack, defense, leadership, politics. They don't matter. So you don't have to cultivate. You don't have to put stars in your assistant general. Here's them kind of explaining what I tried to explain earlier of your skills can't conflict. That's the 4 here. Same with 5, right? You need to be careful that your skills don't conflict. 6 says specialties, right? So specialties are these guys. These guys will work for your assistant general and your main general. But ascending attributes, right? So that like if you get a 6th star, that red star on your assistant general, it doesn't matter. It won't make any effect. I'm looking for where it says it. Equipment for assistants is also not effective, but I'm looking for where it says it here. I don't know if it says it here, but I can also tell you that like if you try to put equipment on your assistant general, right? So like here, I got a lot of equipment on there because this is who I use as my main general. But if I go look at my assistant general over here, I don't have any equipment on her. It doesn't help. It doesn't add any extra stats. It's just kind of a waste of your resources to put on there. Okay. So the other thing is refining. So the first point that I want to make about refining is you don't want to spend a whole bunch of resources refining anything below Ares gear. It's just not worth it. You're going to get better gear. Eventually, you're going to replace it. And you don't want to spend a whole bunch of refining stones and gold and gems refining stuff that you're just going to go replace anyway. And like, if we like go into my generals here, so like I'm gonna pick someone that has both Aries and Dragon Gear. So like here, if I go to refine him, I can get up to 25% on these stats. Whereas if I look at my Dragon Gear, if I go over to here, I can get up to 20%. Right? So your refines are just less good. And you're gonna replace this eventually anyway, so don't bother. So the way refining works, you can do it from various places. I'm just going to do it for my general. You can also, if you want to, you can go to here, you can go to craft, you can go to refine, and you can pick the thing you want to refine. I find this more confusing because it's just, I can't tell what is on which generals as easily. It's just harder for me. So let's go back to here. All right, so I have this guy. I actually just built a bunch of equipment for him. So like my refines are not great. I need to work on them. So your refine should have to do with the troop you're trying to buff, right? So this is my ground general, so I want ground refines. And I'll just start with something I haven't done a lot of refining on yet, just to help make this point. So we'll go over here and we'll go to refine. And right now, this is a ground general, and I have ground troop attack. And this 11% is not very good. I can get up to 25%. The rule I found when I was looking around online is you want to be within 5% of this maximum here. So, like, I want to get a refine where this ring is giving me at least 20% ground troop attack. If you get, like, 19.5, maybe good enough. Like, it's kind of up to you. You will end up spending lots of gems trying to get perfect refines if you really are working at it. Okay, so we'll just like try here. I hit this and, oh, I got a good one right away. 20% ground troop attack. I'm lucky. This doesn't happen very often. So I'm going to confirm that because that's much better than my 11% there. And so now I like that refine. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to lock it. But notice how when I lock it down here, it's now going to cost me 2,000 gems to refine. But when I refine, that didn't change. And I get this isn't a very good stat here, but whatever. It's better than all this stuff that doesn't buff my ground troops. So I'll keep that. I'll hit it again, and this has nothing for ground troops. I'm going to cancel that one. And we're just going to keep going at this until I... so no ground troop. Percent's generally better than flats, so I'll take that 8%. And so at this point, I'm going to pause because I personally would like to do my refining during a refining event. But basically the idea here is like you don't want to keep all of your refines, right? Like when I hit this, see, this is a tough one. 447, I think that's better than this 8%. I could probably do some math to figure it out, but you know what? This is probably not going to be permanent, so I'm just going to keep it. I think that's better. But yeah, generally when you're doing your refines, you want to get percentages. Percentages are much better for your higher tier troops because like when you take a percent of a higher number, you get more stuff out of it. These flats, these are a lot better for lower tier troops. But like, you know, when you're like sending a attacking march, you generally have your better troops in there, right? You're like trying to stack this up with, you have layers, obviously you have a mix of higher and lower tier troops. You have a lot more of your higher tier troops. So you want the percentages because that's going to buff your higher tier troops more. The flat buffs are specifically good on your wall general. You don't need to have this. I'm not the expert in this, but like if you look over here, I have a bunch of flat ground troop buffs. Right, so when I say flat, this is a plus 2789, plus 2923. These are specifically good when you're dealing with tier 1s. And the reason why is just because, like, tier 1s have lower stats, but they're cheap, right? I can build a lot of tier 1s. Like, if I go over here, I have 7 million T1 warriors. These are my ground troops. And I'm gonna build more of these. But, like, you know, they don't have very high base stats. Right here, I have 2,000 HP versus if I go look at T13s, I have 44,000. Right, it's a big difference here. But like, if I have a bunch of these and I have them buffed with these flat things, like I probably have an extra like 10,000 HP. So that's 12,000 HP. They're like much stronger, right? So I don't think we want to worry too much about our defense journals at the moment, but I think the point I want to make is there's percents and there's flats, right? We saw that when we were refining this guy over here. We have a 20%, we have this 447 flat. For your attacking marches, you generally want percents because you're going to be dealing with mostly higher tier troops. Eventually, when you're dealing with the wall general, you can try to make a choice of do you want flats or percentages, but for the moment, we're not going to worry about that. Cool. So summing up one last time, don't spend lots of resources refining dragon gear or king's gear. It's not worth it. You're going to replace it soon. My strategy for these was, again, I'm not going to spend a lot on it because reasons I just stated right here. Hey, I have some ground troop HP. I think I just went over here and I hit refine a couple times until I got something with ground troop HP and I just let it go. Right, we're not going to spend gems on this dragon gear. It's not worth it. Once you get Achameity, whatever this armor is called, or Ares gear, that's when like your refines are a little bit more worth it. And like maybe it might be worth it for you to spend some gems. Yeah, let me know in the comments or in the game if you got any questions. I'm happy to answer them. And let me know if you have any ideas for like other questions you want answered. Sometimes it's hard for me to know what issues people are having, and I'm happy to help. Thanks.